Today we're going to complete Perek Yud and hopefully be able to start Perek Yud Aleph. At the end of Perek Yud, Vayake Yehoshua. Yeshua is basically killing all the people, all the Malachim, which were started up Milchama with them. So we will start first in Pasuk Chavav all the way to the end of the Perek. But steht ze Vayakem Yeshua Pasuk Chavav acharei chen vayemisu vayitle al chamisha eitzim vayu tluim alo eitzim alo erev vahiles erev bois hashemesh tziva Yeshua vayoridum me'alo eitzim vayashluchum al me'ora asher nechbeu shom Vayasimu avonim gdoilos al pi me'ora ad etzem hayoim hazeh. So Yeshua kills away all those melachim, the 5 melachim who came to start up a milchama with him. We're talking about the melachim that came from Milchemes Givoin. And it says that he was toiling them on 5 separate trees, and they were tluim alo eitz. And ois boya shemesh, when the sun set, vayoridu me'ala eitzim, they took him off the eitzim and they put him into the me'ora. I mean, they're dead. They put him into the me'ora. The me'ora, the cave which they hid there, as we read before. Vayasimu avonim gdolos, they buried them. Then with avonim gdolos, etzem hayom hazeh. The inyan fun halonas hameis alo eitz after somebody's mischayev miseh. Steht in Torah Pasuk in Sefer Devarim, V'chiyeh b'ish chet mishpat moves, v'humas, v'soliso oisoi alo eitz, right? Lo yisolin nivlos alo eitz, ki kobatik v'renu b'yomahu, ki kilalas eloikim tolui v'lo yisatames ad moscha asher Hashem eloikecho, no yisin l'chon nachal. So if you look at the Pasuk Pshuta Shel Mikra, there is a mitzvahs es of Kvura, and the mitzvahs es is Kvura in the Adama. And there's a lav of leisolin, which is an Easter to be mailing the mace on top of the eitz, minat Torah. This is balaylo. If I look at the Sifri, leisolin nivlose alo eitz, mitzvahs leisase. Kober tikberenu, mitzvahs ase. Steht in Sifri that there are, in Haruge Bezdin, the Pasuk is talking about Haruge Bezdin, there are 2 Isurim, there are 2 dinim. One of them is a mitzvahs Loisase, the Isur of Loisolin, and not allowed to be mailing the Meis Alo Eitz. And number 2, there is a mitzvah saseh of mitzvahs esse minatayre from Kovetik Verenu. What about Sh'ar Meisim, somebody who's not a Ruge Meisim? Somebody who's not a Ruge Meisim, stam a Mensch gestorben. Steht in Gemorre, steht doch in offene Sugis HaGemorre in Sanhedrin. In Daf Memvav. Omer Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, minayin lemalin asmeisoi she'oiver olo b'leis aseh, Talmud lo yimar ki kover tikberenu. Mikan lemalin asmeisoi she'oiver b'leis aseh. Rashi says, Afnor, in Sanhedrin, that other mesim you learn from a ribui, from the Torah says leisolin and kover tikberenu baruge bezdin, and sh'ar mesim, there is also a isur of loi solin. So Vaistois from the Gemara, Minayin Lemali and Mesa Shubaleisa said that the whole Inyan of Kover Tikverenu is not a mitzvah saseh, but there's an Isur of Leisolin, which means that by Ruga Bezin we have Sayah Leisaseh and Sayah Aseh. By regular mace we only have a mitzvah Leisaseh, a Isur to be mailing, but there's no mitzvah of Kover Tikverenu by Yoimahu. If you look on the Yalkut Shmoinides on the Agoras on the side of the Gemara and Sanhedrin brings the Girsas Yalkut, and the Girsas Yalkut is in Parshas Kiseitze. Minayin lemolinas meisa she'over leisas al Talmud leisolin v'loisei. Minayin she'over af be'asei. Talmud lo makover tikveren. According to this Girsa, Bashar Meisim, not only there is the Easter of leisolin, there is also a mitzvah sasei. If I look at the Rambam Sefer HaMitzvahs, in mitzvah sasei Reish Lamed Aleph, steht in Rambam as mitzvahs Loshen Rambam is mitzvahs ציוונו לקבוע הרוגי בייס דין בוי ביום שנהרגו, והוא אמור יסול כובד תקברנו ביום ההוא, ולושן ספרי כובד תקברנו מצווה עשה, והוא הדין בשאר מייסים, לשון הרמב"ם, רצולם אשר נקבע כל מייסי ישראל ביום מייסם, שתי תחכלון הרמב"ם, that the mitzvah עשה of כובד תקברנו is not only din הרוגי בייס דין, but also a halacha in regular, anybody who was nifter, anybody who died, every mace, there's a mitzvah Yisro Loisa says, a mitzvah Saseh. If I look at the Rambam in Hilchos Sanhedrin, in Perek Tesvav, steht in Rambam, I'm reading, mitzvah Saseh likbo kol haruge beizin b'yom harigo, shenemar ki kovet tikverenu b'yom hahu, v'lo yaruge beizin bilvad, ela kolin kol hamelin es meiso oiver olov beloi Saseh. So the Rambam by Haruga Beizin starts off the Halacha Mitzvah Sasei, Kovet Tikverenu, Un Lo Haruga Beizin Bilvad, but also Sh'ar Meisim, there is Lo Yisaseh. And also, if I look at the Rambam in Hilchos Ovel, in Perek Dalet, the Rambam says, Kol HaMeilin HaSmeiso Ever B'Lo Yisaseh. Vice states in the Rambam that a Meisim, which are not Haruga Beizin, there is only a Lo Yisaseh. The Rambam doesn't say there is a Mitzvah Saseh Lo Yisaseh. Comes again to the Mishnah Dort Nafnot, Mishnah in Hilchos Ovel, and says, why does the Rambam say Amelin in the Meiso Ever B'Lo Yisaseh? The Rambam should have said Oiver B'Aseh B'Lo Yisaseh. As Eva states in the Rambam Sefer HaMitzvos. Zog the Mishnah, and I'm quoting, Ulai Rabbeinu Nimshach HaChalosh in HaMishnah V'lo Yizu Bilvad Omer L'Kol Amelin Meiso Ever B'Lo Yisaseh V'lo Yizkira L'Lo Yisaseh Bilvad. Right? The Rambam in Hilchos Ovel writes, interesting Rambam, Im tziva shelo yikover. What happens if a guy makes a tzavor, he doesn't want to be buried? Doesn't want to be buried. Ein shemim loi, shakvuro mitzvah shenema kova tikverenu. The Rambam doesn't say which mace we're talking about. Haruga beis and a regular mace. The Rambam says there's a mitzvahs esse together. So the case is over the Mishnah. Since the Rambam has said him before it in Hilchos Sanhedrin, he didn't have to be neiches over here to tell her which mace. In the Rambam, in Sefer HaMitzvos, the Rambam that we saw in Reish Lamed Aleph, the Rambam says it's a mitzvahs esa to be kover kol meisei Yisrael. However, the Rambam is Sheroshim. Sefer HaMitzvos is Sheroshim in the beginning. The Rambam is Sheresh HaRishon. Says the Rambam is talking about basically all the klolim uprotim which are counted and not counted in Sefer HaMitzvos. And I'm reading the Rambam in Sheroshim, Sheresh HaRishon. Acharei shehoya loshen HaTalmud Taryag mitzvahs ne'emu l'Moshe misinai eich noima bedover shu midarabonon shu michlal haminyan. He says only mitzvahs sesim in Atayr is only taryag mitzvahs. Umipnei ze tohu boy rabim. There are a lot of people made a mistake. Umonu nerchaneke umikra megile michlal mitzvahs ese v'chein mea brochas b'chol yoyim unichum avelim uvebiku chelim uvekvura sames. State in the Rambam Klor that is only Taryag mitzvahs. How could you count all the mitzvahs as Semi Derabanan? And the Rambam puts down Kvur Sameis is a mitzvah Derabanan, just like Kriyas HaMegillah, just like Adlakas Neres Chanukah. And this is the Chure Stire in the Rambam, when the Rambam himself says is a mitzvah sasei to be kover the mason. So the Ebbes Yer Darker is that the Ramban in the Ramban has Asogas on the Rambam in Sefer HaMitzvos, and in Tshuva Gimel, in Sefer HaMitzvah, Sheresh HaRishon, the Ramban says, Ani tomeh, lo me'izkera b'chlal tshuvos kvuras meisim, ki kvuras meisim bevada, yesh bo mitzvah saseh, dichsiv kovet tikverenu b'yom hazu, ve'hu mitzvah saseh, dorshua b'sifri, v'chen meno hara, v'kvar hevi, ma shedorshu minayin, min anitla l'shar meisim, v'lo yoid ela kol ha'meilin esmeisim, v'lo yisaseh, shekilmad lo yisaseh l'shar meisim, ken tilmat taseh. Zog the Ramban, I don't understand what the Rambam is talking about. The Rambam wants to bring down that you don't count mitzvah system derabanan, so the Rambam brings down the kvuras hameis behade together with all the other mitzvah system derabanan, adlakas neres Chanukah and the kriyas hamegillah, bikuchelim, all these things which are mitzvah system derabanan. Havade is a mitzvah system the Rambam brings it down, and the Gemara brings down. He brings this sugyas Gemara in Saned Daf Memvav that anitle l'shar meisim, and yoiver b'lo yisaseh v'izeh lo yisaseh ne'aseh. Versteht nicht, was der Rambam sagt. The Rambam in Hilchos Ovel, the Rambam says like this: Mitzvahs esa shel divrei levaker cholim lenachem avelim lohitzi ameis lahachnis hakalo lilaves haorchim v'liisasek b'chol tzorchei hakvura. Af al pi shekol ele midivreihem hem bichlal ve'ahavto l'reich kameich. Weißt du, in der Rambam, there's a mitzvah v'ahavta l'recha kamoicha. The mitzvah is a comprehensive, global mitzvah. You have to love your fellow friend. V'ahavta l'recha kamoicha. Vos licht in ve'ahavta. What are all the snifim which are derivatives of ve'ahavta? So the Rambam says, Kvuras HaMeis and Isaskus and Koved HaMeis is parts of the mitzvah ve'ahavta l'recha kamoicha. My states on the Rambam that it's only it is a mitzvah sasei min ha'Torah from ve'ahavta l'recha kamoicha, but Chachamim came. The Rambam says mitzvah sasei shel divrayim. Chachamim came and poured some content into the mitzvah from ve'ahavta l'recha and says all these zachen, all these bikucholim, nichum avelim, hoitzo asames, achnos eskale, all these zachen are derivatives of the mitzvah of ve'ahavta l'recha kamoicha. So if we have to wrap up the Shittas Rambam with a shtickle tamua, that be'emes the Rambam shita is that the Isur halon hasameis is only a leis aseh, and mitzvahs kvuras hameis is a mitzvah derabanan that is included. It's a derivative of the mitzvah of ve'ahavta l'recha kamoicha. Vaist ois, when the Rambam says, you just want to say a new pshat in the Rambam. The Rambam says in Tziva Shalei Kover and Shem L'Shakvur Mitzvah Saseh. Not the Rambam mitzvah and mitzvah Saseh Kover Tekveren, because the Rambam doesn't count the mitzvah of Kover Tekveren B'Shah Meisim only by Mes Aruga Bezdin. If Ibal there is a mitzvah Saseh of ve'ahavta l'recha kamoicha, Mimele the Chachomim came and gave a teichen. Every time Chachomim come and say das geht echt da rein, this also included but not limited in this mitzvah Saseh. It's only called mitzvah sesa shel divrayim. So when somebody comes along and says, I don't want to be buried, you don't listen to him. And the reason why you don't listen to him, because it's bichlal mitzvah saseh. Which mitzvah saseh? Mitzvah saseh shel divrayim, because just like achnosas orchim, nichum avelim, bikucholim, are snifim of the mitzvah midoraisa of ve'ahavta l'recha kamoicha, but they are called only, because minat Torah pshat is you have to love your fellow friend. Chacham came along and said everything which is Havas Reim is included. What is it? One of the Zachen is Kover Tikverenu. So if somebody makes a tzavo not to be buried, you don't listen to him because it's a mitzvah saseh minatoyer of ve'ahavta l'recha kamoicha, and that's boifin klolim, boifin proti. The mitzvah saseh shel divrayim is included in the mitzvah of the mitzvah saseh of ve'ahavta l'recha kamoicha, but the ma'aseh it's a mitzvah saseh shel divrayim. Rashi says, if you look at the Torah says, why? Rashi says, Vos meint kilale Elohim toli. Zogt Rashi zilzula shel melech, she'odom osui bidmus diuknoi, v'Yisrael em bonov. Person is niver b'tzem Elohim. Moshel l'shnei achim te'oimim, two twin brothers, identical twins, she'yodoimim zelazeh, echod na'aseh sar, one becomes a minister, ve'echod nitpas, lelustis becomes a gazlan, ve'nitle, kol haroyo oiso imer hasar toli. Anybody passing the street and sees the ganav is hung in the tree, they say, oivei, the minister got caught and he's toli. Kol klolo shebemikre loshen hekel ve'zilzul. Kimoivu kilani klolim ritzes. Rashi says, Klolo means a bizoyan. So if somebody passes by, the reason why you don't leave a person aruga based in toli alo eitz, and you have to be koiva by yoimahu, you have to take a leisolin. The issue of leisolin is because it's a kilalas elikim tolui, and odom nosu b'duknoi, and people are going to say, oh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the sar is toli. What happened with a mesa goy? I mean, this is only a mesa yid. We're talking about the Aruga Bezdin, and the Gemara says, the Gemara in Gittin Daf Samachal says that the reason why we bury Goyim Bichlal is Mipnei Darkei Sholem. Koivrim Meisei Aku Meisei Yisrael Mipnei Darkei Sholem. The Rashi says, Loi Bekivrei Yisrael Ela Misaskim Bohem Im Meisei Mitzom Arugim Yisrael. What happens is the Muhammad and Yidden and Goyim are all killed together. And if it will be misasek only in Mesa Yisrael, will be nikar that you're not misasek of Mesa Akum, and it will become a fight with the goyim. They see you only bury the Jews, you don't bury the goy. So the Gemara, Mipnei Darkei Sholem, you should bury the goyim as well. And it's only in Darkei Sholem. The Rambam says, V'chen Yeroi Li, מה שנוהגים לקבור מסי ממסי ישראל מפני דרכי שלום. And the Ilchas Sevel the Rambam said, "Koivri meisei akum umenachamim avelim." I don't know if anybody here knows, but there's a mitzvahs nichum avelim. Somebody have a friend, a goy, and he died, and they are sitting and receiving all kind of condolences. Steht in Rambam that menachamim aveleim mipnei darkei shalom. Same thing. There's a lot of mipnei darkei shalom. You're mechuyev to be koiver a meis akum. So too, you're mechuyev to be menachem avelim of the akum that died. And steht doch klar that the kvur of goy is not a mitzvah saseh. It's darkei shalom. As it steht klar in Shulchan Aruch, wird gepasken. If you look in Shulchan Aruch, in the halacha in Yeridei, Shin Samach Zayin, in the beginning, it says if a person has a goy and maces, doesn't have anybody, what's to be metapel with him, you koiv him pnei darkei shalom. The Ramban, if you look at the Ramban in Parshas Kiseitze, the Ramban dings on Rashi. The Ramban says the Isur of Baltolin is also a Meise Akum. So the Ramban ve'amoshel b'shnei achim yesh lo soid einenu kasher choshav harav b'Yisrael shenikru bonim lamokim. V'derech hapshat yoyma ki yeh be'ish chet godel sheroi la'amisa v'lisloise al eitz legodel chetoi af al pichein l'isol nivlose al eitz. ואין רוי שנתם מהאורץ ותהיה קילוס אלוקים באורץ הקדושו, כי שם ציוו אס הברוכו חיים עד האילום. ולכן ציוו יהושע ויורידו מעל העצים. The Ramban comes along and brings unsere pasuk. The Melachim, the Chamisha Melachim started going, and they started up with Muhammad with Klal. They started Muhammad with Given, but indirectly, because Yeshua Machmas, the priest with the Givonim, went and fought for them, they started up with Klal Yisrael. And now they killed them. So the Rambam, why was Yeshua v'yetzav Yeshua? Steht doch klar. Yeshua, tziva Yeshua v'yiridim al ha'etzim. Why was tziva Yeshua, so the Rambam? That the reason why, even though they're goyim, there's an isur because it's Eretz Yisrael. And in Eretz Yisrael, there is a Oretz HaKdosha, v'yiz Loshen HaRamban, that the Eretz Sham tziva, tiyeh kilos l'kim b'Oretz HaKdosha, and in Eretz Yisrael there is a din of Baltolin, and there is a din of Leisatames ad Moscha. The Tam Ha'isur of Kovetik Berenu Shtei Leisatames ad Moscha. When anybody leak Tamei is not covered, it's called Tumas Adomo. Once it's covered, it's covered. It's like, sir, I know when you cover. Some Mishnah Melech says, but before you cover it is a Tames ad Moscha. The finding of a mace unburied is a Tumas Ha'adoma in the Oretz HaKdosha. Therefore, you're supposed to bury them, and that's why Yeshua said to bury them. I mean, everybody has to their Ramban. The Gemara says that Koivri Meisei Akum only Mipnei Darkei Shalom. I mean, according to Ramban, comes out the Kvur of Goyim is also Leisatames ad Moscha. Zogen the Meforshim. If you look, I mean, some Sefer, even the Pnei Yeshua in the Sugya Gemara says that the Ramban learns that the Isur of Baltolim and Kovetik Verena says only in Aruga Beisdin. Like Pashta Sami Cross, it says V'chiyeh Beish Chet Mishma Movis. That the reason why the reason why Yeshua took him off, since there is the Neher Gualpi Yeshua is the one who told him to kill them. So Mimele, they're called Aruga Beisdin. Yeshua was a Navi, and he gave a psak the Chayiv Misa. Mimele, they have a din of Aruga Beisdin. But if they have some goy, not Aruga Beisdin, there's no Aruga Beisdin the goy because there is no din Aruga Beisdin the goy. But Yeshua was Mitzaveh, has a din like Aruga Beisdin by Yisrael. What happened to Shah Mason with the not Aruga Beisdin? Tama goy atete, dort shtei da loch is mipnei darkei shalom. You know, in the Rashi Shita, the Yerushalmi says Nazir. The Yerushalmi says that Tzivui of being koived the message shalotia kilos elikim toli. Fact the Yerushalmi that goy is also osur is mitzvah and kilos Hashem. It's one of Zayin mitzvahs bnei Noach. So why there is no mitzvah by goy? I mean, it's called kilos elikim. The mace is mekalo kilos. Who is kilos elikim? The mace is kivyochol mekalo kilos elikim toli. Zog the Yerushalmi me'acha v'kol misosa shel goy. She'oval echol mizayim mitzvahs bnei Noach b'saif b'bal the mitzvahs esef v'goy zoiva and shiurei mitzvahs bnei Noach. They don't have skila. They don't have the other mitzvahs based. By goy, all the zayim mitzvahs chayav b'saif. So Mele, there is no din of Toli. The din Tliya is only by Aruga Beis Din. After you make a skila, you toilu malo eitz. That was the halacha. But somebody's near beside, there's no din to be toilu. As I state in Yerushalmi. Mele, if a yid is getting killed in the Almitzvah's Beis Din, and he is a chiyuv skila, there's a mitzvah to be toilu, so there's a din of leisol nivlose alo eitz. Mele, there's a mitzvah to be kover him. Mele Rashi learns the reason why the din is only said by Yisrael, not by Goy, is because there is by Goy is nish gimol dechetimtze, because you don't toile a Goy alo eitz machmas the chiyuv misa. If there's a chiyuv misa al zayin misas bezdin, the halacha is misosa b'saif and is not nitle. The reason why Yeshua was mitzaveh to take the melachim to be koiver, because since Yeshua said be toile them, it says befeish. Yeshua wanted to make a pachad v'moire in the goyim which are ibagiblim. They'll walk in the street and say, "This is what happened to somebody start up a klal." So Mele blives a mitzvah sese, according to Rashi, that mitzvah sese of kvura here. Bottom line, in Meisei Nahuga Beis is halacha of both. In regular Meis Vais to Ois, in the Rambam is vague. The Rambam says to himself in the Chesanot in the Sefer HaMitzvahs. We saw that the Ramban says Avade by Shar Meisim is not only on the Mitzvah Saseh, but also the Mitzvah Saseh. And in the Rambam himself, Vais Tois is a chelik from the Mitzvah of After L'Recha Kamoich, and it's called Mitzvah Saseh Shel Divrayim. By Goy, the Shaila is, the Gemara says the only Mitzvah Skvur is Al Darkei Sholem. The reason why here the Yeshua is Mitzaveh to bury them, and the reason why there is a din, because there is a halacha. The reason why there is such a halacha, because since there was a gzeira of misa, they have a din like Harugei Beis Din. I would like to start Perek Yud Aleph and go a shtickle weiter. Vayiki Shmoya Yovin Melech Chatzoyer. Okay. Vayishlach Yovav Melech Madoin vel Melech Shimon vel Melech Achshav vel Melachim asher mitzofim bahor ba'arov neged kinreis ubishfeilo ubenofeis doyo miyam aknani mimizoch umiyam va'emoye va'achiti va'prize va'ivuse ba'ar va'achiti tachas chermoim be'eretz hamitzpah vayetzu hem v'kol machaneim imom am rav kechol asher al sfas hayom lo roiv v'sus v'rechev rav me'oid vayivoadu kol ha'melachim ha'ile vayavoyu vayachanu yachdov el mei morim lilochim Yisrael. Yomer Hashem el Yeshua al tiro mipneim ki mochol ka'is hazois ani noisen es kulom chalolim mifnei Yisrael es Suseihem Te'aker ve'es markevoiseim tisrev ba'esh vayover Yeshua v'kol ha'om imoi al mei morim pisoim vayiplo ba'im vayitem Hashem b'Yisrael vayilefum ad sidon rabba v'ad misrafo samayim v'ad bik'as mitzpas mizrocho Vayakum ad bilsi yisir lohem sorry to polit. They didn't leave sorry. Vayas lem Yeshua kasherom al Hashem esuseh iker ve'esmar keviseim sorav beish. So what do we have over here? The 24 melachim that are iba giblim from the 31 melachim. They didn't learn the lesson from the victories Yeshua had till now, and for all the nisim, the moedik nisim, everybody's talking about it. That here all 24 made a coalition against Klal Yisrael. Now, the milchama of 24 melachim, Yeshua never had 24 melachim together to come in, and the chances statistically, derech hateva, is very mild. Kodesh Baruch Hu tells them, "Don't worry about it. By tomorrow they're all going to be dead." But there is an end to tzivui. What's the end? State es Suseihem Te'aker, ves markevoiseim Tisruf Ba'esh, and Yeshua right away, the next pasuk, Yeshua is Me'aker, the Susim, in the mark of Yisayim, Tisrufum Ba'esh. Te'aker means, Gemara says, you take the bottom of the legs of the Susim, and you cut them off, Minar Kuva Vilamata, from the knee down, you cut them off. The behemoth stands basically on its knees, you take off the bottom part of the leg, and the parsas where the behemoth is standing. Es Suseihem Te'aker, zog der Radak. V'yesh li shel matam omor loi mitzvah zoi b'milchama zuma shel etziva lo b'milchama acheres. Never heard, Kodesh Baruch Hu tells him, he goes, ro'isa sus v'recha b'milchama b'me'aker the susi. Zog der Ramban the Radak v'yesh leforish, ki b'kol ha'milchama sa'cheim lohoyo b'hem sus v'rechev, כי אם בלכידס היורס או ימולחומס. גם 15 מלוכים על גיבים בו ללוכתו, ולא היו צריכים לסוס ורכב. There was no horses and rechev and susim in the other milchamos. אבל זו המלחמה אויסה מערוכו, שאורחו מלחמה עם רב, עם רב ללוחם ישראל, והיו צריכים לסוסים ורכב, והיו מוים לרוב, כמו שכוסו ורואיסה סוס ורכב, עם רב ממחו, ולא תמצא שאומר כן במלחמס אחר. וציווה הקדוש ברוך הוא, listen to the words of the Radak, וציווה הקדוש ברוך הוא, לעבד הסוסים והרחם שהיו הגויים נלחמים בהם, ובוטחו ברכבם קירה, ולא יודו כי שקר הסוס לישוע, וישראל בלוי רכב וסוס ניצחו ויפילו בחלולם כי להשם התשוע. לפיכך לרוצה הקל לסבורך, שיבויזו ישראל להם הסוסים והמרכובס, כדי שלא יפתחו בהם גם הם ויחשו בליבם, כי אם הסוסים יעשה המלחמס. זאת הרמב"ן אומר לכזך. If Klal Yisrael would have taken the susim sholol in the milchama, so sheker asus lichua, they think, oh, now we have ammunition, we have the most sophisticated weapons, cutting-edge technology, this susim from the 24 melachim. Lefichach tzivo Yehoshua le'aker asusim v'lisaf ha'merkoves v'letzivo lohomis es asusim. Why don't you just kill the susim? Ki lo yehoyo dover she'osu ba'ano, it was nisurano. V'shara b'eim she'oyu b'em k'moi rechev gamor chamoir rechev gamor lo yitzivo la'aker she'yichul le'tzorchom. They could take the biza from the milchama. Was a camel, was a donkey, was a chamoir, was a gomel, shtokin isu. Aval asusim she'einam elo le'milchama. The whole tashmish of a sus is le'milchama. Tziva la'akor shelo yikchu v'yivtuchu b'hem v'lo ma lohogam derech hashchoso ki osu lahashchis anivroim. Listen to this. If you're going to kill the susim in the milchama, you don't have to kill them. You finish the war even without killing them. So killing them is batashchis. Im loy letzorech or le'eso b'ano v'ha'ikeru le'nasher parseis ha'behemo min ha'kuba v'lemata v'lo yisomus ha'behemo b'zeh ela shelo yitucha laleches v'im tire timtzo mira b'mkoim v'tichim. Now, there's an interesting child. In Torah state, a pasuk. Pasuk in Parshas Mishpatim, Kisir Chamor Senach or Roivetz Tachas Masoi v'chodalto me'azoiv loi ozoiv ta'azoiv imoi. There's two mitzvahs. One mitzvah of prike and one mitzvah of te'ine. If a person meets a fellow friend, not a friend, Senach, here is a signer, and the chamoyer is roivetz tachas mason. Either he has such a massa, such cargo on his back, that he is the reason why, the poshet azak, because the guy who packed up the car didn't know how to pack it up smart. So he started putting packages and packages not in the right way to balance the weight. Mele the chamoyer is roivetz tachas mason. Even if the Baal chamoyer is somebody you hate, not Yisroyev, but Yisoyne, you mechuyev to be oizer him, to help him, to be mefarik the chamoyer from the maso, and then to reload it again, that's called prike, and to reload again the maso in a way that the chamoyer will be able to carry it properly. There are 5 yotzim in a klal when a person is not mechuyev in these mitzvahs. Number 1, what happened if the guy put up maso that the guy can't carry? We know a chamoyer that weighs 150 kilo can carry 100 kilo of masayas. What if the guy put 200 kilo of masayas on top of the chamoyer that weighs only 150? And you know, when gefrekt, as Azazach, the chamoyer doesn't have an ability to do the masa, there is no mitzvah of prikavetin. I'm just giving it to you in a nutshell. If Baal chamoyer, shtet aziv ta'aziv imoy. Imoy is only if he helps. What if he sits on the side and says, okay, now unload and reload the behemoth, you're not mechuyev. If the behemoth is a behemoth of a goy, there's also no chiyuv. If the behemoth is darko lirboitz, stam a lazy behemoth that always goes, any opportunity she has, she's roivet, she goes and lays down and she doesn't want to move, it's also no mitzvah. And if the behemoth is not roivetzes, but stam oimetzes, she doesn't want to move, there's also no mitzvah says. All these instances, there is not chayev in mitzvahs te'ine. The question is, what happens to mitzvahs prik? The behemoth is hurting, even behemoth, any behemoth, even if the guy is not helping you. The behemoth right now, there's 150 kilo, 200 kilo worth of load on the behemoth. The behemoth is hurting. So it's a shaila if Tzar Ba'al Chaim is the Raisa, Tzar Balchaim is the Rabbanon. The Gemara comes along and says that the Gemara is there's Etlich Gemara in Shabbos. We don't have too much time, so I'm going to mekatzer it. The Gemara comes along and says that there is a Maaseh by Chamoyer Shel Rabbi Gamliel. Gemara in Shabbos. Gemara says a story. There's two Gemaras in Shabbos, one in Kuf Nun Daled and one in Kuf Chav Daled. I'm going to say it fast because I would like to wrap up things. Gemara comes along and says the Chamoyer of Rabbi Gamliel was to Uno Dvash and didn't want to be Periket on Shabbos because he didn't want to do it, even though there's a Echetimtza to do it derech shinui, to go on one side that the little behemoth be unloaded on Shabbos. Rabbi Gamliel didn't want to do it. And the Motzei Shabbos, the behemoth died. And for the Gemara Kasha, why didn't Rabbi Gamliel do it? So the Gemara comes along and says that it's talking about the dvash shehidbish. It was a sour dvash, mainly it's muktzeh. The Gemara Kasha dvash shehidbish, also you could use it for medicine, for bed sores of animals. But the Gemara comes along and says that if he would have done it, he would have the kadim, those barrels that carried the dvash on top of the chamor, would have broken on Shabbos. More Sakashi, you should put karim vexosos underneath them. Because the Gemara is a whole Maso mountain, and the Gemara comes along and says, no, it's called Bitul Klime Chonai, and Bitul Klime Chol is also on Shabbos. For the Gemara Akashe, the bottom line after the whole Arichas in the Gemara in Kuf Nun Daled, for the Gemara Akashe, Vayiket Tzar Balchaim, there's a loch of Tzar Balchaim, and Tzar Balchaim is the Raisa, so why isn't the Yisur Balchaim, Tzar Balchaim, the Din Tzar Balchaim, should be doichet the Yisur D'Rabbanan of Muktzeh? So the Gemara Kosovar, Tzar Balchaim is the Rabbanan. Since it's the Rabbanan, there is no heter of Yisur D'Rabbanan to be doichet Mitzvah D'Rabbanan to not to be Mitzvah Balchaim. The Yisur of the Balchaim is Tzar Balchaim is on the Rabbanan to mevatel the Yisur of Muktzeh, which is also a Yisur D'Rabbanan. The Halacha is Shev Altasa. That's why Rabbi Gamliel did not want to be Perek the Chamor, which was overloaded with barrels of honey. Another Gemara says that what happened, Behemoth shenoflo techamas hamayim. Behemoth is walking and falls into a ditch full of water. Maybe korim v'ksosos u'menicha tachteim. Also for the Gemara Kashe, it says that you only oisel parnosa b'mkoyim, you throw some food down, but you're not allowed to take korim v'ksosos. So the Gemara, if yes, not. So the Gemara kosovar tzar balchaim d'oraisa, and if she can't have parnosa, so tzar balchaim d'oraisa is doiche the isur the rabbanon mevatel kli meichon. So if tzar balchaim d'oraisa or not, the rabbanon is a shaila if it's doiche isur the rabbanon, sai isur muktzeh, whatever the isur bitul kli meichon, which are all isurim the rabbanon, the shaila if the din tzar balchaim is. In the Iker Din of Tzar Balchaim, I just want to have all the shitas in front of us. The Maisa, there are 4 shitas in the Easter Tzar Balchaim. If you hold Tzar Balchaim is the rice. Rashi shita is Rashi in Shabbos in Daf Kuf Chof Ches. Rashi says, why is Tzar Balchaim the rice? From the fact that you see the Torah is Metzav Azav Tazav Imoy, that you mechuyev to be meforek the masa from the behemoth shalated stire. Vaystois it's a din the rice. That's shitas Rashi. The Ran in Bob Metzia, in the Sugya from Prika Vetinin, Daf Lamed Beis, the Ran says, you learn it says in the Pasuk, Roivetz Tachas Masoi. Vaistois Tachas Masoi, even if the Masa is overloaded, which means what happened, even either Roivetz or Roivetz Tachas Masoi, even if it's Rav Tzonis. You remember we said, if she's Rav Tzonis or it's overloaded, you're not Chayev. This is only biyachas to the din of reloading and helping your friend to make a te'ina thereafter. But being that there is involvement of tzar balchaim d'oraisa, you mechuyev to take off the masa from the behemoth. Component should be tzar balchaim if you hold tzar balchaim d'oraisa. That's shitas aran. You learn it out from the pasuk of roivetz tachas masoy. Shitas arrived in shitum kubetzes in the sugi in Bob Metzia, that you learn it out from the din of leisachsim to b'shur b'dishay. The Torah says when the shur is dash and he's eating, you're not allowed to be chosim the shur because the shur is mitztayer when he sees the tvuah and he can't eat it. So from here you learn the halacha of tzar balchaim d'oraisa. The Ritva says no, there is no mocker in the Torah of tzar balchaim d'oraisa. It's halacha l'meishim Sinai from door to door. What's the halacha tzar b'alachaim deraisa derabbanan? Shitas hagaonim and shitas balamor and shitas harosh that tzar b'alachaim is midaraisa. Shitas hamotche in Avodah Zarah in the first parak that tzar b'alachaim is only midarabbanan. What's with the Rambam? What's with the Rambam shita? The Rambam v'historis is a steer in the Rambam. That the Rambam says motzo be'ema inulchas ritzeach, motzo be'emas chaveira revutzo, afal pishen abayim imo mitzvah lifruk me'alav v'lita noleh shem azev tazev. אם כן, למה נאמר אימוי, שאפילו הויו בעל הבאים אימו והולך ויושב, ואומר לזה שפוג האויל והלך ומצי ורציסו לפרוק פרק, הרי זה פוטו, שנאמר אימוי. The Rambam says that you're not mechuyev. Fragen alle, zog the kesef Mishnah, the Rambam should say, you're mechuyev, charge your money. If I tell you, said there's no deen of tzar b'alachaim d'oraisa. The Rambam learns it's not d'oraisa. And the Rambam says, b'be'ema sagoy, b'masoy, you're not mechuyev only mishum eve. What do you mean if there is a tzar b'alachaim, there's not enough committed be'ema v'goy, be'ema v'yid, it's a tzar b'alachaim. In Hilchos Shabbos, the Rambam says that what a be'ema nofel bor, and you can't ratav the be'ema only by making korim v'ksosos. You over the isu mevatl kli me'ichona, it's a isu derabbanan. The Rambam says it's tzar b'alachaim is doiche. For the Balamor, the Gemara says the only reason why you're allowed to be mevatl kli me'ichona is only because you hold tzar b'alachaim d'oraisa. But the Rambam passes tzar b'alachaim is only derabbanan. So why does the Rambam say that tzar b'alachaim you're allowed to be put in korim v'ksosos in order to alleviate the pain of the behemoth? So the kesef Mishnah, the Rambam holds tzar b'alachaim is d'oraisa. And the Rambam patters from Azev Tav is only behemoth. When the Rambam says behemoth shall go is only from Te'ina, but Prika is behemoth chayav. As I zok the kesef Mishnah, as is the Radvaz in the Tshuva. The Rambam in Sefer Amoyer Nevuchim, very interesting. The Rambam says that v'homno mitzvahs ese. So the Rambam in Sefer Amoyer, somebody wants to see the Rambam Chele Gimel Simem Memches. Mitzvah shchitas behema yechreches mipnei she'amoz nativa lebnei odom nazroim atzmoichim וכאשר הביא הכרח טוב המוזן הריגס בעליכם כבונס התרא לכל שבמיסס ואוסרו שיענה אויסה בשחית הרוב וליחתך בימי וכמו שבעלנו וכן אוסרו לישחת אויסה וזבנוי בימיך לישוער ולישחת כצער בעליכם בשא גודלו מאוד אין אפשר בצער או עוד המולו וצער בעליכם כי האב הסיים ורחמיה על הוולד אינו נמשך אחר השכל רק אחר פועל הכוח המדומה הנמצא ברוב בעליכם כמו שנמצא באודום. Anyhow, the Rambam says that the mitzvah of shchita, the mitzvah of Esav is bnoi, and mitzvah shiluach hakan comes from midas harachmanis, not to be mitzayer b'alechaim. The shaila is, everybody asks in the Ramban asks, the Gemara and Mishnah says, in other words, somebody says that the reason why mitzvah shiluach hakan is because the Kodesh Baruch Hu has rachmanis on the bruim, it's a stira, gmura, it's a person is not allowed to say, Al kan tzipu yagil b'rachamecha. Mishaskin, you say, you quiet them down. So the Ramban, and I'm reading the Ramban in Sefer Dvorim. Ma she'omru oise midoise shakadosh baruch hu rachman ve'enon l'gzeiros, lo yimar shelichas hakel al kan tzipu v'legiu rachman al oise ve'ez bnoi, tam ha'meniah lelamed oisonu midas harachmanes v'shelo nisach zer, ki ha'achzoriyos tispashet b'nefesh ha'odom kayadua b'tabochim שויכתי השורים הגדולים והחמורים שהם אנשי דומים זבחי אודום אכזורים מאוד ומשומוכי עומר סוגי את האנד וקידוש וטוב שבטבוכם שטופה של המולק והנה המצווה האלה באימה ואויף אין רחמונס עליהם אלא גזירס בונו ללמד היסונו המידס הטויבס וכן יקרוהם כל המצווה עשר ולא יסעשה גזירס. The Ramban distincts between the רחמונס קדוש ברוך הוא ויצורov and between the limud that we have to learn midas harachmanos, but the time mitzvah should be a boyre is not mitam rachmim, it's gzeres melech. But be'emes we have to learn how to have rachmim. The Emes is just to wrap it up. The Gemara says, why was Yeshua oiker the susim? The Gemara says, Zeraya, there's no yisur tzar b'alachai. The Gemara says that if somebody is noiser b'shuk shel avidus kochavim be'ema te'oker. For the Gemara akashe v'yikar tzar b'alachai, Omar Abaye, Omar Achmone, es Suseihem Te'aker. אז ich steht in Gemara in Avodah Zarah in Daf Yud Gimel. Fragtes Akashi Ikshar Rabbeinu Elchanan, how do you say Suseihem Te'aker? The man do Omar Tzar B'alachaim D'oraisa, my Raya, my Sem Yeshua Dil L'Shayin Yosem Al Pi HaDibur, aber Hocho by Anoise V'Noisen is the Knas D'Rabbanan Ein Koach B'Yat Achom L'Akum Min HaTorah because it's the Isur Tzar B'alachaim. V'Yishlemer Sheyesh Tam koyach biat chachomim echod deik nira ktsas tam la'akra. Tosa says there is a tam yesh koyach biat chachomim that I feel like it is interesting. The Maritzchias is a kasha. You bring a raya that a novi could be a kedom natayah from Eliyahu and Novi Bahar Carmel. Why does the Gemara bring a raya from Yeshua? Yeshua is before. Sif Seder Ksuvim. Yeshua zok the Maritzchias. The Tosa says Eliyahu is not nitztav osakem midaita. Yeshua is al pit tzivui Hashem. Mainly you can bring a raya from Yeshua. Al koponim it's Suseihem Te'aker. There is no din. There is a mitzvah saseh. There is no din.